Bear to You by Sylvia Day Chapter 8 Final Part. Before listening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Phew, she said. You scored. I'm pea green with envy. I couldn't think of anything to say to that. It was all still too new and I was afraid to jinx it. In the back of my mind, I knew these feelings of happiness couldn't last. Everything was going too well. I rushed to my desk and got to work. Eva. I looked up to see Mark standing in the threshold of his office. Could I talk to you a minute? Of course. I grabbed my tablet, even though his grim face and tone warned me they might not be needed. When Mark shut the door behind me, my apprehension increased. Is everything all right? Yes. He waited until I was seated, then took the chair beside me rather than the one behind his desk. I don't know how to say this. Just say it. I'll figure it out. He looked at me with compassionate eyes and a cringe of embarrassment. It's not my place to interfere. I'm just your boss and there's a line that comes with that, but I'm going to cross it because I like you, Eva, and I want you to work here for a long time. My stomach tightened. That's great. I really love my job. Good. Good. I'm glad. He shot me a quick smile. Just be careful with cross, okay? I blinked, startled by the direction of the conversation. Okay. He's brilliant, rich, and sexy, so I understand the appeal. As much as I love Steven, I get a little flustered around cross myself. He's just got that kind of pull. Mark talked fast and shifted with obvious embarrassment. And I can totally see why he's interested in you. You're beautiful, smart, honest, considerate. I could go on, because you're great. Thanks, I said quietly, hoping I didn't look as ill as I felt. This sort of warning from a friend, and knowing that others would think of me as just another babe of the week, was exactly the sort of thing that preyed on my insecurities. I just don't want to see you get hurt, he muttered, looking as miserable as I felt. Part of that's selfish, I'll admit. I don't want to lose a great assistant because she doesn't want to work in a building owned by an ex. Mark, it means a lot to me that you care and that I'm valuable to you around here. But you don't have to worry about me. I'm a big girl. Besides, nothing is going to get me to quit this job. He blew out his breath, clearly relieved. All right. Let's put it away and get to work. So we did, but I set myself up for future torture by subscribing to a daily Google alert for Gideon's name. And when 5 o'clock rolled around, my awareness of my many inadequacies was still spreading through my happiness like a stain. Gideon was as prompt as he'd threatened to be, and he didn't seem to notice my introspective mood as we rode down in a crowded elevator. More than one woman in the car cast furtive glances in his direction, but that sort of thing I didn't mind. He was hot. I would have been surprised if they hadn't looked. He caught my hand when we cleared the turnstiles, linking his fingers with mine. The simple, intimate gesture meant so much to me in that moment that my grip tightened on his. And I'd really have to watch out for that. The moment I became grateful he was spending time with me would be the beginning of the end. Neither of us would respect me if that happened. The Bentley SUV sat at the curb and Gideon's driver stood at the ready by the rear door. Gideon looked at me. I had some workout clothes packed and brought over, in case you were set on visiting your gym. Equinox, right? Or we can go to mine. Where's yours? I prefer to go to the cross trainer on 30. Fifth, my curiosity over how he knew which gym I frequented vanished when I heard the cross in the name of his gym. You wouldn't happen to own the gym, would you? His grin flashed. The chain. Usually, I practice mixed martial arts with a personal trainer, but I use the gym occasionally. The chain, I repeated. Of course. Your choice, he said considerately. I'll go wherever you want. By all means, let's go to your gym. He opened the back door, and I slid in and over. I set my purse and my gym bag on my lap, and looked out the window as the car pulled away from the curb. The sedan driving next to us was so close I wouldn't have to lean far to touch it. Rush hour in Manhattan was something I was still getting used to. SoCal had bumper to bumper traffic, too, but it moved at a snail's pace. Here in New York, speed mixed with the crush in a way that often made me close my eyes and pray to survive the trip. It was a whole new world. A new city, new apartment, new job, and new man. It was a lot to take on at once. I supposed it was understandable that I felt off balance. I glanced at Gideon and found him staring at me with an unreadable expression. Everything inside me twisted into a mess of wild lust and vibrating anxiety. I had no idea what I was doing with him, only that I couldn't stop even if I wanted to.